This is the Westinghouse iGen11000DFc. The reason it stands out for me is simple. When the power dropped during a storm, I pressed one button and my home felt normal again. Lights on, fridge humming, Wi-Fi back, and even central air conditioning came online without drama. This is a large dual-fuel inverter generator built for home backup and serious outdoor use. I see it fitting homeowners who want real peace of mind during outages, and people who travel with a recreational vehicle or work with power tools away from a grid. If you are trying to keep an entire home comfortable through a storm, or you want the option to run on gasoline or propane without fiddling around with conversions, this lands right in the sweet spot. The look is practical in a way I appreciate. The blue and black finish feels like something from the automotive world. It is not just for show either. The panels are tight, the handles are confident, and the outlets are covered. The weight is what it is. At a little over 187 pounds, no one is pretending this is feather light. The never-flat wheels and the folding handle are what make it usable day to day. I have rolled it across my driveway, through my yard, and over uneven stone without fighting it. Lifting it into a truck bed is doable with a second person, but I would not try to deadlift it solo. The fuel cap is large and easy to grip. The oil fill and dipstick are placed where I can actually reach them without contorting my arm. Those are small details, but they make living with it easier. Setup felt familiar with a few nice surprises. I added oil, put in gasoline, and checked the battery connection. The key fob remote start is the kind of feature you do not think you need until you use it. I have started it from inside my kitchen while rain hammered the windows, and it lit up in a couple of seconds. The push button on the control panel works the same way. If you prefer propane, the regulator setup is straightforward once you have done it once. I did have to slow down the first time and double-check the connection. I even called customer support to confirm I had the order of steps right. They were quick and got me through it, and ever since then it has been smooth. The user interface does not overshare, but it gives me the data that matters. The digital display shows voltage, frequency, running hours, and fuel level. I glance at it to keep track of maintenance windows and to know how much fuel I have without opening the cap. The economy mode button actually changes how it behaves under light loads. It ramps the engine down to match the demand, which saves fuel and takes the edge off the sound. About the sound. Compared with the open-frame generators I have used before, this is significantly gentler on my ears. On economy mode, it sits right around conversation volume. Westinghouse rates it near 64 decibels, and based on my ears that checks out. I can talk with my family on the patio while it runs in the yard. Under heavier loads it does get louder, but it stays stable and never has that harsh, rattly tone older frames have. It is noise I can live with, not noise I want to escape from. Power delivery is where this unit earns its place. On gasoline, the peak output climbs to around 11,000 watts, with 9,000 running watts. On propane, those numbers step down a bit, close to 10,000 peak and 8,000 running, but it has been more than enough for everything I call essential. I have run a refrigerator, lights, a modem and router, a sump pump, and my central air conditioning for stretches without a hiccup. The total harmonic distortion stays low because it is an inverter design, so I do not think twice about charging laptops, phones, and running a desktop computer. Nothing buzzes, screens do not flicker, and I have not tripped a single surge protector. Fuel flexibility is real peace of mind. If gasoline is hard to find, I can hook up a propane tank and keep the essentials running. Propane burns cleaner and stores well, which makes it a strong backup plan. Swapping fuels is not complicated. I shut the unit down, switch the selector, attach the hose, and start it again. Both fuels start reliably in the cold, and I have not had to pull a cord to coax it to life. Runtime has been better than I expected. The tank is nearly 10 gallons, and at a light quarter load I ran it close to 17 hours on gasoline. With propane, I gave up before the bottle did during an overnight run. For a long outage, that translates to waking up rested, not climbing out of bed at 3 in the morning to refuel. The fuel gauge is honest enough that I am not guessing, and the hour meter makes it easy to plan oil changes. Safety and protection are not afterthoughts here. The carbon monoxide sensor has shut the unit down on me once when the wind shifted and pushed exhaust back toward the intake area. I had placed it outdoors, but closer to a wall than I should have. The auto shutoff was annoying for a minute, and then I realized it might have saved a bad situation. I moved it further from the house and from any doors or windows, and it restarted right away. The low oil shutoff is a comfort as well. I do not want to gamble with an engine this size. Overload protection has saved me once. My nephew plugged in more space heaters than our circuits could handle. The generator cut the power safely. I unplugged the extra load, pressed reset, and we were back. Real use is where I tend to trust a machine or move on. During one 3-day outage, I kept the fridge cold, ran lights in several rooms, kept the internet alive, and cycled central air conditioning during the hottest hours. Voltage stayed flat. Frequency held steady. No flicker on lights. No strange surges when a compressor kicked on. I took it camping with a recreational vehicle at a lakeside spot. On economy mode in the evening, it blended into the background. Neighbors did not complain, and I had enough power for the air conditioner, a small microwave, and charging gear. I have also rolled it to a detached garage to run saws and a shop vacuum while building shelving. The startup draw from the saw did not cause a noticeable dip, and the inverter kept electronics in the same space happy. A specific example stands out. A thunderstorm took out our street one weekend. I remote started the unit, walked outside, flipped over to the house connection and brought up the fridge, the basement sump pump, a few lights, the Wi-Fi, and after a minute I bumped on central air conditioning. The sound rose for a second and settled back in. The display showed normal frequency and voltage, so I made coffee and got on with the day. I checked fuel a few times, topped it up at sunset, and let economy mode do the rest. That night I slept with a fan on and woke up to a still running generator and a dry basement. There are a handful of thoughtful touches that make it easier to live with. Remote start with the key fob means I do not get soaked walking out in a storm. The control panel is laid out in a way that I can read it at a glance, even at night with a small light. Covered outlets keep grit out when it is rolling around a campsite. The handle folds, stays out of the way, and does not rattle. The choke and fuel selectors move with a clear click, so I know I have actually changed modes. The wheel kit is not flashy, but it is tough. The tread does not crumble and it has not gone flat on me once. It is not perfect. The weight means it is not something I want to lift alone. If you plan to load it into a truck bed often, bring a second person. Propane setup was not totally intuitive on my first try, though it is easy once you learn the sequence. Under heavy load it is still a generator, not a whisper. The remote start range through multiple walls is not endless. In my house, 20 to 30 feet with one wall in between has been reliable. Past that, I usually use the push button on the panel. None of those are deal breakers for me, but they are worth knowing. I see this as a dependable tool for homeowners who want a calm, predictable backup plan, and for folks who work or travel where power is not guaranteed. If your needs are just a couple of small devices, this is probably more than you need. If you live in an apartment or carry everything upstairs, the weight will be a hassle. If you want to keep a home livable in storm season, run a workshop without babysitting a generator, or take a recreational vehicle out without giving up air conditioning. This earns its spot. I will post full information about the Westinghouse iGen11000DFc in the comments section. See you in the following videos.